introduced this video with Welding Tips BD and continued with the introduction of the previous video, filling the second hot sweat of Chinese cover welding, and the weld bead welding did not stop at the last closing point and overlapped the welding a little bit, so as to easily observe how much needs to be filled. This is the space that needs to be filled. If it is compared like this, it may be difficult to know how much needs to be filled. In this case, you can use a ruler to compare at the hot sweat collection place. This means that the applied rise is and either below 2.4 mm or 3.2 mm electrode can be used. The advantage of 2.4 mm electrode is that the probability of penetration failure is small, and the disadvantage is that the continuous supply of electrode is more. But if you are sure of tolerance, you don't need to deliberately use thin electrode, because 3.2 mm electrode is more convenient to use, and 3.2 mm thick electrode filling needs to increase the current. Here we adjust it from 140 to 160 before to welds with Chinese thermal welding, and now the applied rise area is thickened. The temperature control does not fail during the welding process, and there is no oxidation inside the pipe. If the pipe is acid treated after welding, it is no longer necessary to inflate. Welding is also a gas saving method. Start welding now. In welding, we see that the surface of the weld bead is blackened, which means that there is a large amount of heat input while welding. Then do you know that you don't inflate after inputting so many calories? Has anything changed inside the welded pipe? Now if you look inside the pipe, you can see that the color of the building has changed, but the applied rise is not damaged. As mentioned before filling, if acid treatment is carried out after welding, discoloration in the tube is not a problem, and if a 3.2 mm electrode is used for filling, the welding will sweat out the weld bead of the appropriate height, which also makes the welding work more. There is also no need to pay attention to the process of welding electrodes, and it is also possible to use 2.4 mm electrodes for welding, but you need to pay attention to the supply of electrodes. Now click on the lower left corner of the course. There are activities suitable for novices to watch. Yaoba welding skills activities are limited. Hurry up. That's how it is done after welding. If you keep the timing and rhythm right when pushing the electrode, a thin electrode can fully complete the concept welding. In order to ensure a good weld, it is important to find the right welding conditions for the situation, but more important than that is to create conditions that are conducive to your own welding. Good foundation work is also an important factor for good welding. That's all for this video. I hope it will be helpful.